Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes, and welcome to Spotlight TV. So glad that you could join us today. We're excited. We have an awesome guest with us, Miss Edith. Welcome to Spotlight TV. Why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself to our audience?
I'm Edith Close Vaziri, and I'm a native of California, and I grew up in Sutter County, which is the northern part, but I was a teacher in Los Angeles for 41 years, and I'm still living in the Los Angeles area.
Wow, teacher for 41 years.
Yeah, it's sort of hard to believe, but
That's amazing. Well, you have this awesome book, Saints and Sinners. I was looking at that. I say, what an interesting title. Saints and Sinners. Good morning, saints. Good morning, sinners. Speak to us about that book and what inspired you to write that.
Well, the first poem in the book, we had a pastor who, when he came to our congregation, started the service with "Good morning, saints," and it was dead silence. He said, "Good morning, sinners," dead silence. So we had to coach us on saying good morning. And it took us a few weeks before we caught on to it. And I realized that I really didn't know much about saints and sinners as I should. And so I kind of researched it and got ideas from sermons and scripture. And why I picked this book was because we had a former pastor visiting at the church, and I happened to be there. And he was saying that the 20 to 40-year-olds are the least churched at that time. This was a few years ago, and it may still be true. So I looked at what I had, and I thought Saints and Sinners would be the best choice. But I asked my son the same question, not telling him what I had chosen, and he picked exactly the same thing. So I decided that was the one I needed to start with.
Wow, that's powerful. So the initial response when the pastor said good morning, saints, and good morning, sinners, the congregants did not really know how to respond to that greeting.
No, because we weren't used to calling us, one or the other or both. So
wow, that is quite interesting. Now I'm looking here. You have some very interesting things. I see good morning. I see difficulty of sainthood. I see watch out for the destroyer, and then I have faults. So as I was looking and reviewing the book, I thought, now this is fascinating. You say something when it says the difficulty of sainthood. Why sit? Now see, this is very interesting. Why is it so hard to be called a saint? I saw that in the book. I thought, what an interesting question. Unpack that for us and share a little bit about that.
well, I think we're used to, or some of us at least, are used to thinking that we're sinners and not really thinking as a saint, because we kind of think to be a saint, we must be, basically perfect like Jesus. And that's not what it means. We've been forgiven by Christ. He sacrificed his life for us. But we still don't think of ourselves as a sinner, but we are a sinner in God's eyes.
We are saints
Oh,
in God's
both.
eyes. Yes,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Absolutely. So now that's powerful. That what you're saying there, you're saying, okay, would it be safe to say that the power of awareness has a lot to do with the way we view ourselves?
Yeah, now that you bring that up, I would agree with you.
So when the light came on and there was illumination for you, and you said, well, wait a minute, I'm not a sinner, I'm a saint. What did that do for you, not only spiritually, but what did that do for you for the rest of your life?
Well, it made me think differently, to remind myself that I am a saint in God's eyes. even though we're not necessarily saints in our own eyes or the people that we run into, but we're saints in God's eyes.
Mm, mm. So when you use the word saint, I'm thinking, I've been, Old Testament saints, New Testament believers. But when we come together, I'm hearing you say that we've been justified by the acts of Jesus Christ and our faith in him. Would it be safe to say that?
Yes, definitely.
That is so powerful. Talk to us about watch out for the destroyer. That was quite an interesting thing that I looked at in the book. Watch out for the destroyer. Unpack that for us.
Well, I go to the Lutheran Church, and we don't usually bring up too much about Satan and what he's trying to do. And in a Bible study book, we have studied that. But, I started looking at it more because I've had a friend in the past that, was aware of it. I mean, she was a different denomination, and it made me think a little bit more that you have to watch out because you don't know what he's going to try to do, because he doesn't want us to follow Christ.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I noticed you so eloquently combine scripture and poems, scripture and poems. As I was looking, I said, wow, this is so masterfully put together. What was the inspiration for you taking that approach when you started writing the book?
I think the main reason is I wanted to make sure that what I was saying had scripture to back it up. So I've done research to find scripture that would match up with that. And some of them, didn't match. So I sort of tossed them aside. And then others, I looked at the notes that the Bible that I use has, and it gave me some more ideas and some more references sometimes.
That's so powerful. Now, speak to us about the impact. You come into this new awareness, you come into this new knowledge of who you are as it relates to becoming aware of how God views you, how God views us. Speak to me about how that allowed you to then share that revelation with other people who are in your church. You say because normally you all didn't hear that. So being in your denomination, when you started to reveal and share that, how impactful was it? Did you get resistance or did people buy into it?
Well, it took us because maybe we're more quiet about our faith, a lot of us. It took us a while to get used to it. But in this particular group that I go to, we were calling it the Kairos group, where
Okay.
God shows himself in your life and even through other people. And that made us feel more comfortable because we would share that Kairos moment with the other people in our small group. And that gave all of us more confidence in bringing it up.
Now that's awesome. So you all had a Kairos moment, just like the lady when she met Jesus after he had been resurrected and she met him. That was that Kairos moment. Would it be safe to say that you all experienced that spiritual intimacy that you hadn't experienced before? Now you experience that at a different level?
Well, it's definitely a different level because all of us became more aware of it in our lives. We would see it, but we didn't recognize it necessarily as a Kairos moment.
Wow. Wow. Now, Ms. Edith, when you had that personal encounter and you all came into that illumination, that power of awareness, how has it impacted you spiritually, your group spiritually, and has it begun now to, just permeate or irradiate to the rest of the congregation, some other people outside of your group who are in the church that you attend?
Well, I think we're more open, and we can show examples. And I have another group that I've met with for women for years, and I've learned, and I say this, turn it over to God, because a lot of times we'll try to turn it over and then we even take it back.
Ah,
But we can't do that. We have to completely turn it over and just let him take care of it. And he finds his own ways to do that. So
that is so powerful.
that helps build that strength and that belief up by doing that.
So when you came into this awareness, this illumination, I'm hearing you say that it fostered a spiritual intimacy that you've never experienced before. Also with your group. That's powerful. So now, what would be a key if you were going to give a person, let's say, 2 keys in about 30 seconds? What would be 2 to 3 keys that you would give someone to foster this intimacy that you've experienced?
Well, I don't know if it's exactly a key, but I think we have to realize and learn that we are all loved by God.
Okay,
No
we're loved by
matter who we
God.
are or what we have done. I mean, he loves us anyway.
Okay, number
That's
2.
sometimes hard too. And also, I think just keep turning to him and praying and telling what's your problems, what you're afraid of, what you need. Don't be afraid of
Okay,
it has to be perfect when you talk to him.
and give us another one.
Oh, now you're testing me.
Okay, let me summarize that. Okay, first, I heard you say we have to trust God,
Right.
is what you said, and then communicate with him and be honest with him.
Yeah.
Some key things, just trust him and be honest with him. That is so powerful. Do this for us. Share with our viewing audience how they can get in touch with you, how they can contact you, and how they can gain access to this awesome book. I know it's on Amazon, but tell people how they can contact you.
Well, I'm in the process of getting a website, so it'll be much easier to do. Somehow people like marketers somehow have gotten a hold of my number, and so some of them I don't answer because there are so many of them, and
Okay.
some of them I answer. It's also available on Barnes and Noble, but I noticed when I checked the other day that they have a previous edition of this, and the one that's $1 more is the correct one, which is in 2020. But I also found, like on Amazon, to actually look under my name, Edith Close Vaziri, or to give the full name of the book, which is People of God, One and All Saints and Sinners. Because if you put Saints and Sinners, there are a lot of books entitled Saints and Sinners.
Excellent. Okay. So go to Amazon, put in the full title of the book, which I found it under there with the full title of the book. And I saw your name and I saw the title of the book. That's excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been powerful. I know in the time that we had, we thank you so much for allowing God to inspire you to write this awesome book. I would encourage our viewers to go and get the book, go to Amazon and get it. Oh, it is so powerful. The poems are amazing. I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. Thank you for joining us. Our very special guest has been with us, and we look forward to seeing you again. We'll be back with you soon for the next episode of Spotlight TV.